it's live yet, but okay. Anyway, let's do that again just in case it wasn't. What's up, guys? Let's take a look here, bringing you another Raw review. Okay. First of all, just to get one thing off my chest, rest in peace, Balls Mahoney. Some of you may or may not know that the ECW original Balls Mahoney has passed away. I think it was on the 12th of April. Um, Something along those lines. There's not much details known about it yet, but I wasn't a big Balls Mahoney fan, and I wasn't a big ECW fan, considering I was too young really to know much about ECW at that given time. But still, it's never nice to see another human being lose their life, and I suppose in that sense, I'd like to send my condolences out to Balls Mahoney and his family. Nonetheless, let's get started with this Raw review. So basically, Shane McMahon comes out, and due to overwhelming social media uh, support, like sorry, it's just find it funny that the WWE would never pay attention to their social media like followings or Twitters or Instagrams or Snapchats or whatever the fuck WWE do. Come on, man. If you paid even 1% of attention to your social medias, you would see that we don't want Roman Reigns as champion. I mean, maybe the penny has finally dropped considering how AJ Styles is being pushed and stuff like that. So fair enough. But anyway, Shane kicks off Raw, and many people before we even get started, many people have said that many people have said that the whole WrestleMania match with Shane McMahon and The Undertaker is pointless if Shane's going to show up every week anyway. Right, let's just get it started, right? Let's just be honest. There was no one else to face The Undertaker. Everyone wanted to see The Undertaker fight at WrestleMania. Big deal. The only thing they've successfully did for me, WWE, is fucking scare the balls off me that Undertaker was going to retire. But, I don't know. Thank God he didn't. But nonetheless, Shane's in the ring. He announces that Natalia will face Charlotte for the women's title. And there will be a tournament to determine the new number one contender for the tag team titles, which was rather interesting in those brackets, which we'll get to later on in the show. He says anyway, since Sami Zayn had his opportunity at being the number one contender for the WWE title taken away from him by Kevin Owens, he will face AJ Styles. If Sami Zayn wins the match, it will be a triple threat match. Fair enough. Out comes a raging Kevin Owens. I don't know, man. Bloody hell. Kevin Owens, the promo master, just says he's been screwed. I'm a typical heel. Blah blah blah. Owens had opportunities. Kevin Owens never got his rematch for the one-on-one for the IC title, which I suppose is fair. Then Shane McMahon says he has to earn a match for the IC title shot against Cesaro of all people. Out comes Cesaro, and finally, he seems, and I don't want to jinx it, but he seems like he's got a gimmick somewhat. Actually, he actually seems like he's got a gimmick in the sense of that. Well, he's actually, I know it's just a small off comes the suit, I'm James Bond kind of thing is what I've seen some people refer to it as, but at least it's something. Do you know what I mean? They're taking a vested interest in Cesaro, and why wouldn't you? Good God, tell me why. Kevin Owens and Cesaro was a brilliant match. Loads and loads of crazy fucking spots, including Cesaro's in-ring psychology is so on point. Like, he really sold he really sold the shoulder injury. Try to say that fast. He really tried to sell the fact that that was still injured up until the point that I actually thought it was. It's crazy. Kevin Owens hit a frog splash. Oh my God, it was nuts, man. It's crazy. It was a brilliant match. The match ended itself when Owens went for the powerbomb. Cesaro was able to roll through and hit the neutralizer from that position to get the win. Absolutely incredible. First of all, I want to say that both these men actually done incredible. Brilliant match to start off Raw. And I will say, and I don't know whether I'm jumping ahead in the review per se, or whether I'm just, excited to tell you. But I was only bored 3 times on this episode of Raw, right? And for a 3-hour show, that's not bad at all, considering one of those times was when the Usos were in the ring, and I can't remember the other 2 times. They were probably that insignificant. Anyway, after that, we get Charlotte backstage. She's complaining to Ric Flair, typical heel stuff about having to defend her title. Along comes Dr. Phil, who for some reason is guest hosting Raw tonight and basically spouts all this psychological shit about Charlotte needs to learn to get back onto her own 2 feet and all of that nonsense. It was an okay segment, but dude, for me, I don't get why we need. I don't get why we need this crazy fucking finish. I don't get it. I don't care for it. I don't understand it. But whatever. I suppose guest hosts. Do you remember that awful run from like 2009 to 2011 when they had the guest host hosting Raw every week? That was ridiculous. Jesus Christ. Anyway, after that, Kevin Owens is seen backstage yelling at Shane McMahon, and basically this leads to Kevin Owens getting kicked out of the building. Next out come the New Day talking about the tag team title tournament, which is brought to you by Bootios, and that commences with the match. Kalisto, I don't know, man, got injured during this match. I don't know. Kalisto was injured. I don't know what to say, man. It was just a random match that got messed up by Kalisto getting injured. That's what I will have to say. Like that in my notes, I've even put I don't know what to say. It's crazy because Kalisto got injured and it just seemed rushed and crazy from there. The Dudley Boyz win with a 3D. Since then, it's been reported, thankfully, that Kalisto isn't dramatically injured. He's not hurt. He's not, he's not. I'm not. I'm not really upset about it. I'm glad he's okay. Before the Dudley Boyz can get out of the ring, however, Enzo and Cass come to the ring, and Cass and Enzo, they took the mick out of the Dudley Boyz. It is just, I don't know. It's borderline disrespectful, but it's funny, It's the borderline of being allowed, basically. Enzo and Cass are they're definitely the big deal, man. You got to be honest and see that they are a big deal. They can go far. I'm just hoping that evidently the Dudley Boyz are probably going to lose this match in this tournament. Then they'll go on to face Enzo and Cass, which is a brilliant feud for Enzo and Cass. The Dudley Boyz can put them over initially before they begin their main rush, if you know what I mean. We'll see. We'll see. Like, hopefully they can do well. Out comes Roman Reigns, and I'm not a good guy. I'm not a bad guy. I'm just the guy. Is that a new catchphrase for Roman or something? It's just so forced. They try everything. My brain actually hurts even talking about it. They try everything to get this guy put over. It doesn't work for me, man. Roman, you suck. Sorry, but you do. Roman puts over AJ Styles and Sami Zayn and still gets booed. The League of Nations interrupt him. Sheamus wants to beef him up. Rusev says he should be the face of WWE. I don't know. The League of Nations are eventually going to beat the fuck out of Roman when the Wyatt family, I don't know, maybe they're faces now. I think it could sure as hell work. The Wyatt family make their way out of the ring, and they eventually help Roman Reigns fight off the League of Nations, which again isn't a bad thing. But please, the Wyatts have just undergone, I don't know, a pseudo bloody face turn. please. Oh, please, I am begging you. Look, I'm actually begging to the camera. Please do not let WWE sour the Wyatts by having them tag with Reigns and being the frenemies bullshit. Oh my god. Nonetheless, Shane McMahon comes up and makes a match for tonight. So it's going to be Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt versus the League of Nations. Okay, we'll see how it goes. As long as Bray Wyatt's sister Abigail's reigns afterwards, I'm fine. Women's title matches aren't there? Charlotte and Natalya. Again, this was a really good match. Dusty finish. Not necessarily dusty finish, but dirty finish after dirty finish. It just seems to always be the same shit. Ric Flair getting involved in look, I don't mind it, right? But Charlotte is got a nickname, the copyright infringement diva. She can't have a gimmick of her own. I know that her gimmick is that she is boring. Exactly. Her gimmick is that she is boring. Oh, there's only one Ric Flair. There's only one Harry Kane. There's only one Vince McMahon. Creating another one won't work. You know what I mean? It's crazy. But nonetheless, this match was a good match. Charlotte eventually gets the the title retained because Natalya won via DQ because Ric Flair pulled the referee out as Natalya had the sharpshooter on Charlotte. Good God, try and say that fast. Charlotte did tap, but somehow the referee didn't see. I don't know. Blind as fuck. Backstage, Renee Young interviews Sami Zayn, who hypes up his chances. And AJ Styles says that he's the only #1 contender. So there's a bit of like, I'm keeping my title, blah, 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 blah. Next, we have another WWE Tag Team title tournament match with the Social Outcasts versus the Usos. Now, I'm not, I'm not saying that there wasn't much of a point to this match. I'm not gonna belittle it, but the only thing of note was that Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows, who once wrestled as Luke Gallows and I believe Festus, ran out from the crowd. Bullet Club is here, Balor Club, whatever you want to say. They attack the Usos, and thank God, maybe that'll stop the Usos from being boring as hell. We will see. Hopefully I'm right. Let's see, huh? Maybe. You don't know. Backstage, Maurice is moaning to a PA about blue M&Ms. And The Miz, yeah. Cesaro walks in and it looks like those guys might feud. But good God, man, Maurice is hot. AJ Styles versus Sami Zayn. This was a brilliant match, a brilliant wrestling match. And I've got something to say, and I'm going to lean in closer when I'm saying this. This is probably chopping off half my head, right? But this is the simple facts of the matter. You know why we weren't bored that much this Monday? Right, and I know my reviews haven't been that in depth over the past 2 weeks when I've started doing it like this because I'm ill as fuck. You can probably tell, man. I look like a crack addict. But anyway, lads, look at me. The reason we were not bored is because there was wrestling. Wrestling. It's not a dirty word. Wrestling. It's still real to me, god damn it. But no, honestly, wrestling. There was plenty of wrestling, and that is why it weren't boring. And this was wrestling at its finest. AJ Styles versus Sami Zayn. Good God. Someone give them 20 minutes on a pay-per-view. What counters, what athleticism, what major craziness by both men. I loved it. Absolutely, positively adored it. It was a fantastic match. The end of the match came when Sami Zayn set up for a half Nelson. Styles actually delivered a Pele kick. Styles misses the phenomenal forearm. Sami Zayn hits the Blue Thunder Bomb. False finish, calf crusher. Zayn makes it to the rope. Styles goes up to the top, cuts him off. Styles powerbombs Zayn off the top rope. Zayn flips into his feet and kicks Styles in the face. Hell of a kick. Runs into Styles' boot, at which point Styles hit the phenomenal forearm for the victory. So Sami Zayn doesn't get to be in the title match, sadly, although that might be a blessing in disguise. But good God. It's crazy good, man. Backstage after the match, Styles tells Sami Zayn he'll get a chance at some point, to which point Shane McMahon comes in and basically thanks them for what they've done. Like every true wrestling fan, Shane McMahon is the internet, in my opinion, which isn't a bad thing. Chris Jericho is out next for the highlight reel, and he goes on to say that he should be a future Hall of Famer. He's guessed this himself. He owes all of his success to himself. And out comes Dean Ambrose, who, to be honest, I'm not, I'm not really that big on Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose hands Jericho a piece of paper, a memo, if you will, and says the highlight reel has been cancelled and the Ambrose Asylum is in session. I don't get the point. Dirty deeds was the point of that, and it looks like them two are going to feud, which isn't a problem. I just don't get the big deal about Ambrose. I'm sorry, that might just be me. I don't get the big deal. Jericho is one of the best gifted talkers in the history of WWE, right? And he won a big match at WrestleMania. Admittedly, WWE's booking did seem to be a bit weird that weekend. Maybe they were all on drugs, but I don't get Ambrose. I can't connect with Dean Ambrose. I'm scratching my head right now trying to think of something that I like about Dean Ambrose, and there isn't. I don't hate Dean Ambrose. I don't dislike Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose doesn't bore me per se. I'm just not a fan. Maybe that's me. Hopefully Ambrose can prove me wrong in these Jericho matches. He's got a hell of a partner to dance with. And if Monday is anything to go by with this Ambrose Asylums and fucking highlight reels and all this, the promos could be fantastic. Out comes Apollo Crews against the Radical Mongoose, as I think is what is he really called, the Radical Mongoose these days? Look, Apollo Crews wins, and he does an impressive like power bombs and punches and fucking all of this. You know, Crews hits the spin out power bomb for the win. I don't what. So this is a Bobby Lashley 2.0, some guy that just comes, beats people up. Well, where's the connection? Why am I meant to care about Apollo Crews? I'm not saying I'm shutting down on it yet, but why? Tell me why. Tell me why I'm meant to really give a shit about Apollo Crews, and then I will commence the shit giving, as it were. I will try. You know, it's ridiculous. Nonetheless, we move on to our main event of the evening: Bray Wyatt versus Roman. Well, it doesn't make sense. I almost said versus Roman Reigns there. Nonetheless, I don't know. Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns win. The finish came when basically Bray Wyatt fell into a bloody backstabber because he was distracted by Rusev. The lights come out. Eric Rowan and Braun Strowman appear. They beat the hell out of Rusev and toss him over the barricade. Del Rio goes for a crossarm breaker. Bray Wyatt turns into Sister Abigail for the pin, at which point they stare down in the ring. Now, I need Bray Wyatt to continue this face turn or whatever it is. I don't mind. But this was a brilliant Raw. And you know why this review is kind of short, right? Do you want me to tell you why? Because there is no bullshit to talk about. There's nothing to complain about. Okay, I was bored by the Usos, I was bored by Roman, and then I was bored by Roman again. But you know what? This review wasn't that long or can't be that long simply because I can't tell you how good the wrestling was. I can tell you who won the matches and what I thought about the wrestling, but I cannot tell you every bit. It'll be easy to go on somewhere like fucking Yahoo or Google or fucking whatculture.com and fucking, have a look and see all of these fucking big ass type hats of what every fucking thing happened and how, the big spots that happened and all that, but that won't do you justice. You need to go watch it because I tell you what, if you love wrestling and you've always wanted WWE to do wrestling, then last Monday's Raw, by the time that you guys will see this, well, This Monday just gone, Raw. The 12th. The 12th, the 11th. Huh? I don't even know. What day is it today? Are we on fucking Wednesday? Yeah, we're on Wednesday, right? But no, it's crazy, right? It's crazy to think that this was pure wrestling at its finest. I will just say a few things. Charlotte needs to stop with this whole Ric Flair bullshit. I appreciate that, they are trying to get her over, but she needs to start embellishing or developing her own identity as soon as. Otherwise, they're going to hit a real problem, and eventually, you're not going to be able to recover from that. And where the fuck was Sasha Banks? That is just the only really negative things I've got to say about the women's division. Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson debut, and they killed it. Thank God. The Dudley Boyz are jobbers. The social outcasts, we all knew what we were getting when we signed up for that. The Lucha Dragons are so forgettable. One's a fucking botch machine, and one's a fucking US champion who we didn't even really know about. Like, fucking hell. The tag team division needs just please call up Finn Balor, or hell, even have Bullet Club interfere in the tag match and have AJ Styles win. Hell, have Finn Balor come up, please. But no, it was mainly all good. I'm really enjoying seeing the Wyatts. Are they faces? Are they not? I don't really know. I'm actually going to Google it on Wikipedia to try and find out after this. But it was a damn good show. And WWE are never going to watch my videos, but if for some reason some board executive comes across this review, and for whatever reason, if you're stupid enough to stay for the whole thing, then one, I thank you, and two, I implore you, please do not change anything from how Raw has been this past week. Hell, if you want to, now obviously this is just my fantasy booking because I'm a huge Undertaker mark, but if you want to bring Undertaker back a bit early and have him win the title off Roman Reigns, I will love that. But please, enough Roman Reigns. It just ain't happening. The only way to do Roman Reigns is to have him turn heel and see what happens after that. And even if people begin to not hate, and they will never like, but if they begin to not hate Roman Reigns, that's going to all go to shit when inevitably Seth Rollins is going to return and go after the title at some point then. Or at least he should. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching this review. If you have enjoyed, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. This has been your boy, Taker Luke. I'm out. Peace.